welcome to E3 Live from Los Angeles, California. We are so thrilled that you are joining us. We have another stellar day of reveals and announcements that should change gaming over the course of the next year. I'm Jackie Jing, joined by my lovely co-host, Alex Golden Boy Mendez. We were practicing our poses before.
Yeah, we were. We were doing it
like this.
I'm trying to support my colleagues, so I wanted to stand like this. If the camera could just get my legs,
I think you're working it.
I think I'm nailing it. You know, there you go, right there.
There we
See,
go.
look at that. Look at the cross.
Look at the foot pose.
Oh, crap. Okay, never mind. Realized I got 2 left feet, even though I'm Puerto Rican. Not all of us are good at salsa dancing.
I can't. Yeah. I do need to ask you though. Have you recovered from yesterday's announcements? You
oh man,
Halo head you.
It's been a great day. Actually, we just had a multiplayer showcase for Halo as well.
You're on your phone like this.
So I'm like glued to my phone before the start of the show. It looks great. I can't wait. But man, there were so many great games yesterday. Oh. It's like we were running through the gamut. I mean, from the Xbox showcase to Square Enix, the PC Gamer Show had loads of great games, future games as well. It was nuts. It was so awesome.
You were just excited for Halo Infinite. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. He was going ham, though. I ain't gonna lie though, Redfall, vampires and violence all the way over
All the way, I'm okay with it.
Yes. Anyways, we hope that you're enjoying this virtual format of E3 in 2021. We are presenting you with all the insight and live reveals from the comforts of your own home. We've gone global, folks. This year, we are bringing the announcements to you no matter where you might be. From LA to China, we are here to bring you every last word from your favorite developers and tell you exactly what that means going forward. Such an amazing experience for all those watching at home, and such a pleasure to be hosting with GV. I'm punching you.
Yes, I'm being punched off camera, but yeah, we have so many partners all over the globe covering this great event. It has honestly been stupendous to get all of the reactions. Everyone's excited, right? Everyone loves video games. E3, it truly is the best time of the year. It's the Super Bowl of gaming, and you're always going to get some awesome reveals, and I think everyone, there was a little bit of something for everyone, and for an event that is as global as E3, that is exactly what you want. But the fun continues here, because at 9 a.m. we're going to be kicking things off with Verizon. Then at 9:45, a blast from the past, as in television is going to be taken to stage. Then we have an awesome panel with Take-Two Interactive at 10:15. At 11:10, one that I'm specifically excited for is Mythical Games. We'll see what they're bringing to the table. Then at 12, we'll have the Indie Spotlight. Who doesn't like talking about more independent games? Then at 12:30, Freedom Games will go on. We'll see what they're going to be bringing out here. And then at 12:55, we'll have Ven for a special discussion. And then at 2:30, Capcom. Everyone's looking forward to that one. Followed by one that I'm particularly stoked for because I'm a big PC peripheral person. It's Razer, so I'm looking forward as well to that there. There's a lot of good stuff on the docket today, Jackie.
I'm kind of a Razer girl, too. I got the Kitty Kraken ears and the chair.
Razer Viper Mini Ultimate.
Support.
Oh, yeah, it's great.
Exceptional.
It is good. It is good.
Anyway, I know you're excited for Razer. You're talking about Mythical Games a little bit. But what else are you excited for today?
Well, we got a little bit of an early glimpse at the in Television Amico and like what they're going to be doing there. You know, like I said, it's always nice to see things that are going to come back, from our past, coming back and trying. Like, it's like a way for us as we get older to get a newer generation to appreciate a lot of those old school games that we all grew up playing, right? So that is going to be a really fun one. But yeah, I'm really stoked for Mythical Games. I think that's going to be a fun panel.
You've been talking about it all morning. I do think all eyes are on Capcom. Resident Evil 25th anniversary, maybe a new title, definitely some reveals. I think a lot of Monster Hunter and Street Fighter fans are going to be closely watching as well. I'm wearing my Chun-Li blue, y'all.
I like that. I wore Halo green yesterday, so it makes sense to wear Chun-Li blue. Okay, I like that. I like that.
But there's so much on the schedule today, but also just want to give you all a quick reminder. If you're looking for some sweet limited edition E3 merch, do you see how good this looks, folks? Do a little spin,
I did the wrong side. I did the wrong side.
Okay, you got
do a little spin.
Practice poses earlier. There we go. Okay.
Toma. I'm telling you, right here.
Vogue. I love it.
This jacket actually, full stop, is actually really comfortable. Not gonna front. I oftentimes don't wear merch for the event that I'm working this time around, I was like, this jacket actually is quite nice. And this bomber is very, very comfortable. And it's got the E3 logo right here.
It's also got a little pocket here.
Yeah, it's got the buttons.
Yeah.
You know, it's full bomber, baby. It goes with practically anything. So yeah, do that, and then I'll probably end up stealing a dad hat at some point in time with Greg.
I know. Greg was working the dad hat yesterday. He's also been working the bomber jackets as well. But speaking about Greg Miller, let's send things over to the third member of our Titan trio, Greg Miller. He is surrounded by our lovely media partners. How y'all feeling? We're through 2 days of E3 now. Can you believe it? Hi.
We are feeling quite well, Jackie. Come on now. Third day of E3. I mean, what, David? You don't feel well? You're not.
No, I feel quite well.
Well, there's well and there's quite well, and that's the third day of E3. Of course, we have Damon Hatfield from IGN.com. Michael Hyam over here.
Howdy.
From the one, the only GameSpot. Howdy to yourself, you know what I mean? Dan Casey from The Nerdist. How are you?
And quite a good morning to you as well. I'm great.
And then, of course, if you want to get it here, the empty chair. Avali from G4, not here today. Unfortunately, bit in the eyes by 2 snakes last night. But I hear she will make a full recovery and she will be here tomorrow. You know what I mean?
Because they were venomous, not poisonous.
Exactly. That's a fun joke. Because, you know, venomous, poisonous. Do you know the difference?
What? No. Tell me.
So venomous, of course, would be if I bit you.
Okay.
And then I had venom in my veins, then I'm venomous. But if you licked me, I'm poisonous.
Oh, okay.
And that's what got you sick? That what kills you?
I'm telling Jen.
Roll the dice, you know what I mean? Find out what happened. For you to lick me like a toad. Ladies and gentlemen, or I guess just gentlemen today, what are we excited for? Damon, when you think of this day 3, what are you excited for?
There's a couple of things I'm looking forward to today. In all honesty, I'm very curious about Intellivision.
Yeah.
I'm a retro gamer. Intellivision is a name that I grew up with, although I never owned one myself. So I think it's very cool that there's this very retro gaming brand getting its own showcase within E3.
Yeah.
They want to be a family-friendly console where all the games are easy to pick up and play. They have their own controller that's very simple to use, apparently. So I'm curious to see if, you know, what they've got and if there's room in the market for yet another successful console. And then, of course, Capcom.
Of course.
Coming up later today.
Come on.
NPD just announced this morning that Resident Evil Village, best-selling game of May, second best-selling game of the year so far after Black Ops Cold War, which makes it the best-selling game that was released this year. So Capcom has another hit on its hands, and I'd love to see some more content for that.
Of course, ladies and gentlemen, we need to know what you think. As you see, there's a poll going right now. Capcom is running away with what are you most excited for with 60% of the vote, but the Indie Showcase right behind that. Of course, no matter where you are watching, you can spam the chat, find out, vote in those polls, and use the hashtag E32021 to be on the little ticker below. But Michael, what are you excited for today?
I am with the audience and with Damon and saying Capcom because I love Japanese games. That's kind of what I've gravitated towards throughout my career at GameSpot is covering Japanese games. And Capcom, I think, is going to be surprising.
Yeah.
Maybe, I know, like Jackie said, Resident Evil 25-year anniversary and Resident Evil Village is poppin'. So, and there's probably going to be some extra content. I would like to see VR support for Resident Evil Village. That would be wild. But I think the thing I'm actually most excited for, and I think Dan is going to feel me on this one, is the Great Ace Attorney.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Objection. The Great Ace Attorney has been out in Japan for a long time, and it's coming westward this year for Switch, PS4, and PC. It's kind of a period piece with a character named...
Okay, hold on. We need G4 representation here. I'm tired of this.
Objection.
God, that's Golden Boy's
music. God forbid G4's back. All right, did you not hear, guys? Did you not see it? G4's back, everybody.
We ain't going nowhere this time until we run out of money next time. Let's go.
Wow. That's it.
That's it. Okay.
I'm done. I'm done.
Okay. Yeah. Here's my question about Capcom, actually, though, and this is for the panel, obviously. But Capcom, you know, very upfront. They already announced that they, you know, Seltzer, of course, a friend of ours, Golden Boy, doing the presentation. They came out and listed their games, right? So they're talking about, the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles, Monster Hunter Stories 2, Monster Hunter Rise, Resident Evil Village. Is this one of the ones where we trust that? Do we think there's one more thing? Like, obviously, there's been other stuff announced, right? Obviously, Resident Evil Reverse, the multiplayer game, is set for the summer. You'd expect to see something, but they didn't list it. RE4 VR, right, got announced, but are we going to see something here? Should they have gone out of their way to say it? Dan, should we dream or do we not dream about Capcom?
Every night I dream of them announcing a new rival schools, but it is still yet to happen.
Brother.
I knew I liked
Maybe someday.
This is the man of culture. This is the man of culture right here.
Maybe today will be that day, but if it's not, I'm still excited. There's some cool stuff on there. I mean, I'm getting a new Ace Attorney game, and the other stuff sounds pretty cool, but I don't know. I'm just, I've been hurt before.
Sure.
Every time they don't announce rival schools, a little part of me dies like a Horcrux, but
In the meantime, I will hold out that hope and just
Okay.
be excited by everything else coming that way.
Okay, fine, I can take that.
Yeah.
And then Golden Boy G4, what are you
what kind?
excited for?
Well,
today?
you know,
And don't
they-
say Capcom, because you and I are talking about Capcom
They
in
did.
10 minutes. I'm saving it all up.
They did talk about the RE4 during the Oculus presentation, so they went through that a fair amount. But yeah, I mean, as far as the day goes, though, I mentioned on stage briefly, I am looking forward to Mythical because they have a very unique style of game that they do. It's focused on blockchain technology, right? Everyone's talking about the blockchain right now. But it is cool. I think like providing actual value to items in game, through the blockchain system is a pretty neat and interesting take. I would like to see it applied to CCGs, and I'm sure they're going to be talking about Blancos as well, which is like one of their big games there.
Yeah, for me, obviously Capcom, that's the brand we know. But
You
then
just said don't take Capcom.
I'm getting away from it. Then there are the questions of the other things, right? Where it's like there's an indie games presentation.
Yeah.
And I don't know what's part of that. And I obviously, well, I don't know if obviously, hey, if you don't know, I'm Greg Miller and I love indie games. So now you know it's obvious that I'm excited for this because I want to see what they have up their sleeves. And I'm interested to see, with so much saturation this week, whether it be PC Gamer, whether it be the other one, Future Gamer, that we just did yesterday, right? Like, how much more space are there for more indies to come out?
There are a few more indie games that I've been paying attention to that I didn't see at the other showcases. So I want to shout out two of them. Boyfriend Dungeon from Kit Fox.
Of course.
Shouts out to y'all. And She Dreams Elsewhere from my boy Davion Gooden. Hey, I knew I was going to give you a shout out during E3, but I haven't seen those at other showcases. Those are games that I'm looking forward to that kind of feel like they're imminent for release, but that's up to them. But it would be dope to see those games on an E3 stage. That's what I want to see, but if I don't.
Also, where's Avali to talk about Boyfriend Dungeon?
Boyfriend, oh my God.
I can't do the Avali Boyfriend Dungeon thing justice, because I wouldn't even know where to go from there. What is that game even about?
You date your weapons.
Yes.
Yeah.
Don't you want to date your sword or your blunderbuss? Come on.
Or your polearm.
Yeah,
Gentlemen, I'm taken.
I've been dating my polearm for a good 30-some years at this point.
You set him up with that one. You set him up with that one.
Greg
This is
Miller,
what
ladies and gentlemen.
this is what you get when we put 5 men on a panel. You hate to see it. You hate to see it.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to reset. We're going to take a quick break because we are just getting started. Up next, you're going to get a preview of what to expect when Capcom presents. But first, here are some of the best memories from past E3s as told to you by some of your favorite streamers and content creators.
My biggest E3 memory that I remember being like, are you serious? Was Beatles Rock Band, because they had the Beatles there.
I remember when they showed the Final Fantasy VII with new technology reimagined.
The remake.
Something about game devs and game executives going boom is like a memorable experience.
I think Deathloop is going to be such a great game. I am so excited about it.
Ori and the Will of the Wisps, Little Nightmares 2, anything that is indie and that really catches our attention, absolutely love it.
Pokemon
on Sword and Shield, they showed Nessa, especially like Black Cosplay Twitter and stuff. Everyone was like, yo, oh my god. I kid you not, literally that night I started putting together a costume.
So a moment that really stuck out to me for E3 was in 2016, where I actually got to meet and interview Mr. Miyamoto. It was surreal, and I will never forget that moment.
Probably one of my favorite announcements that happened at E3 was for Fallout 4. And it was also one of the first times I actually got to work with Bethesda. Being able to work with my favorite video game series was just a dream come true. So that was a super hype E3 announcement for me.
They were talking about Forza Motorsport 6, and they literally lowered a Ford GT from the ceiling, and I lost my mind.
Microsoft brought out Usher. That was the time. That was when there were just random celebrities.
The E3 announcement that I got the most excited about was winning the freaking Smash Brothers tournament and getting that dang medal. That was the best announcement that ever happened to me when they announced the winner, and it was me.
Welcome back to E3 Live from Los Angeles. Greg Miller here. with my cast of gaming friends, of course, the none other than Golden Boy, ANNOUCMENTS.
Right.
Hello, how are you?
I feel like I just spoke to you.
Well, you did because you crashed the other segment, you know what I mean, and then you burned it because we're supposed to have this bomber jacket moment where we're together and like our powers unite, but then you burst through the wall screaming about G4.
I'm so sorry about that.
I like
I'm
it.
excited, you know. I'm excited.
That's what people are tuning in for. They like the shenanigans.
G4 is back for a few months. You know what I mean? Just get used to it, kids.
Is this the advertising gimmick they're running with? Of like, hey, how long is it gonna last this time?
Yeah, man. Well, until Cops and Cheaters shows up, you know, like
well,
I'm joking.
Joey
joking.
Greco. Golden Boy, I want to talk about a developer we are all familiar with. That's Capcom. What do you want to see from them today during their E3 presentation?
All right, if we're keeping it a $1.50, okay?
I don't know what that means. What does that mean?
Like we're keeping it real.
Oh, okay.
Like, you know, there's nothing more real than $1.50.
Okay.
You know?
Sure.
I know you know. He knows what I'm. He knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
He knows.
I'm right there.
It would be so sick if we got a Lost Planet game.
Oh my God! Why are you dreaming so big? This is the problem with gamers. They come out and they say the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles, the Monster Hunter Stories 2, Monster Hunter Rise, Resident Evil Village. That's our presentation. He's like, I want Lost Planet.
Hear me out, Greg. All right, because if you know, yesterday Square Enix was like, hey, we're Square Enix and we're gonna do this. We're gonna talk about this.
Yeah.
Right. And then they dropped Strangers of Paradise.
Sure.
You know, which was a special surprise.
Sure.
So I would like it if Capcom did one more thing. You know, that would be cool. It's not necessary for them to do it because I think like the slate of games that they're going to talk about, like the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles, I think that's fantastic.
Sure.
A lot of people are going to get hyped up about that.
Two different Ace Attorney games bundled as one, only released in Japan, now coming to America.
Exactly.
Yeah,
so that's going to be a fun release for a lot of people to just enjoy those games, and I think that's going to be pretty awesome. What about you?
Oh, for me, like I like that they called out Resident Evil. Hey, we are going to talk about Resident Evil Village. Of course, Damon just went over there. The success Resident Evil Village has had since its launch a month ago. So what does that mean today? Is it DLC? Is it story-based DLC? We haven't actually talked about Resident Evil Village, you and I. Have you beaten Resident Evil Village?
I have not played it. All I've done is watch. Watch streams of it.
Oh, okay.
Because I mean, I've been in California for like a month, so I haven't had time to play any video games at all.
Yeah.
That said, though, I have liked what I've seen besides the hand stuff. The hand stuff really doesn't do it for me.
I understand. They have a thing about hands over there. But the story goes places.
It does.
And ends in a very interesting place that we won't spoil here if you haven't gotten there. So my question becomes then, if it's DLC, is it continuing that saga? Are we getting a tease of what happens next? Like, where do we want to go with Resident Evil Village and double down on the success they found of it?
Do you feel like we have a pathway, though, for Resident Evil Village?
There's multiple pathways I think they could go with it, which makes it so exciting and interesting to see what they'd want to do with it and what they want to add to it and what they want to talk about today for it. And then beyond that, I know like Monster Hunter Rise, obviously, is a game that has taken over. Fanbytes Imran Khan, obsessed with it, right? He's one of our friends. IG and Zach Ryan, obsessed with it. I want to see what they have up their sleeve. They had done, their own event in May already where they talked about the 3.0 update. Now we're getting about to the 3.1 update. So what else are you going to put in there? What other monsters are we going to do? And again, this is E3. Yeah. This is when you get to tease to the largest audience, hey, here's what's coming in the fall. Here's what's coming down the line. So it doesn't even have to be the more imminent 3.1 update. It could be anything.
Yeah, exactly. There's a great opportunity here for Monster Hunter, for Capcom, to just continue to establish the strength of the Monster Hunter brand. Yeah. I went to Japan, and I remember going to a few of the, the toy stores and stuff like that to pick up some figurines. I mean, and just, it was everywhere. It was such a big deal. You could tell that the culture around that, the game, even out here as well, and I'm glad it's really picked up steam out here because it is a fantastic franchise. I think we're going to get some cool little goodies with Monster Hunter for sure.
Yeah, I will put a pin in all that because, Monster Hunter, I'm so excited since World to see the success Western. As somebody who used to review the Monster Hunter games on PSP, to see it now be a huge phenomenon out here, it's insane. Maybe one day we will get the Monster Hunter restaurant I went to in Japan here stateside.
Oh, that would be cool.
It's insane.
That'd be cool. Like the Gundam Cafe.
Exactly.
Well, the drinks weren't that great, but
that's when you fall apart. Jackie, what do you want to see in an American Monster Hunter restaurant?
What? I have no idea how to answer that question, so we're just going to go into the next segment. How does that sound?
Sounds great.
Okay, so we all love ourselves some AAA games, but we're also putting the indie world in the spotlight today with some trailer reveals. What types of indie games do you look forward to? For me, I love when the music just hits and the animation, I just feel it in my core and my heart. It's so hard to pinpoint what it is. I just feel like I watch the trailer and it somehow just hits me right in the feels. But Damon, I know you're particularly excited about seeing all the indie games. Why does it stand out to you so much?
There's a lot of creativity in the indie game world. They're able to take sometimes they're able to take bigger risks than a AAA game that's tens of millions of dollars in the making. It's usually a smaller team. Lots of pixel art. There's just so much great pixel art happening in the world of indie games today. I grew up on pixel art, of course. The pixel art that's happening today wouldn't have been possible in the 80s and 90s. It's such a cool look. They're doing fantastic things. It's a visual style that's going to look good 100 years from today.
Michael, what about you? Why are you excited about the show?
Independent games have the ability to be telling more personal stories, and I think that's what I gravitate towards a lot. So I mentioned She Dreams Elsewhere, which is an upcoming indie game from a good friend, Davion Gooden, but I think that's a microcosm of why I gravitate towards independent games. So you mentioned music, and you can do a lot more. You have the freedom to kind of make what kind of music. You don't have to check with anyone. You don't have to check with anyone if this is the type of story you want to tell, whether it's personal, if it deals with mental health, or if it's an expression of something you're just feeling. You are, if you're making an independent game, you are your own storyteller. So you are the last, I imagine that you would be the last, you get the last say in what your game says. So of course, not every indie game is going to hit every person, but for those games that do hit certain people, I think they can be very impactful. Because I know games such as Undertale, which is probably, I guess, the most successful indie game out there by Toby Fox, that is literally one of my favorite games of all time, and many people would probably agree with me. But there's something very, very earnest and very personal about that game, and especially that soundtrack, which Toby Fox also made, as well, is just like a throwback to all the old school RPGs. So that's what I look for in independent games, and I want to see something like that again, and I hope someone out there finds something they're interested in too during the showcase.
Michael, that was an exceptional monologue. I just want to give him a round of applause. All of us were in trance. We were just keep going.
I want a game to make me cry. I've been on record on this for all of E3. Crying is dope. Crying is great. If there's a game out there that's going to make me cry, give it to me.
We're here for all the feels. Dan, but in your opinion, what makes the indie games hit?
I think it's what both Damon and Michael were saying, where you have so much raw creativity out there, but the indie game process democratizes the creative process because you have fewer corporate masters to answer to. You can really sort of focus in on your vision. I think about that sort of idea of a singular creator in some cases, like Concerned Ape with Stardew Valley. That was someone who just loved playing Harvest Moon so much that he's like, I need to make my own. And he did over the course of 5 years, and it turned out great. But you get so much other stuff out there too, it really opens up genres that might get passed by a larger publisher. Things like visual novels, you get a lot of unique narratives there. Some really strange ones sometimes, like Hot to Full Boyfriend, where you get to date a bird. But that's also cool because that offers all these options to so many people out there. There's so much amazing content, especially through platforms like Steam and Itch. There's so many amazing creators out there, and some of my favorite surprises from the show so far have come during the PC Gaming Show or the Future Games Showcase, because it's not the stuff that we knew was coming, it's the stuff that I'm going to add to my wish list right away because I want to play it down the line.
You know what I also find very interesting about indie games is basically what they have to do with PR and marketing. This is so random, but one of my friends just hit me up on LinkedIn and was like, hey, do you remember me from college? I made an indie game. It's called Extra Galactica. It's actually going to be appearing today in the Indie Game Show, and it's adorable. I love it. Great 80s retro music. You're going to absolutely adore it, Damon, and pixel art. So, but he was talking to me about how they're trying to appeal to China and these different regions. So it's how do they find their audience? I feel like that's such a challenge.
It is a challenge. I mean, think of how many great-looking indie games we've seen just during this show. There are literally hundreds of games released every day. It is discoverability is a real challenge.
Yeah, for sure. Well, so much to get to today, but first we're going to take a quick break. When we return, Verizon will get things going with a major update. Stay tuned.
I would say GTA 5, Minecraft, those games, they're still around because it's super open world. I mean, Minecraft, you can build anything, break anything, which is really, really cool. GTA is just it's just like real life, but in a game, which is cool, and you can just go up and punch people, and that's always fun, and you can't do that in real life. Or, I mean, I guess you can, but probably wouldn't be good.
篝火营地是中国领先的游戏媒体，创立于2018年，致力于为全世界的中文游戏玩家提供专业、精准、迅速的资讯情报。篝火营地立足于中国，与多家国际一流游戏媒体同行达成正式内容合作关系，源源不断地将最新鲜的游戏资讯第一时间带给全球中文游戏玩家。自成立以来，篝火营地在全网的内容浏览量已经超过5亿，服务了数百万的读者和玩家。我们的愿景是做游戏文化传播者。您可以在全球各大手机应用市场下载篝火营地 APP， 或者访问3w.gamebonfire.com 来加入游戏传播者的行列。
As a part of Play for All, GameSpot will be bringing you the latest gaming news and announcements, interviews with developers, the biggest press conferences, and lots more. Play for All is our yearly online event that combines the excitement and announcements of E3 with charity live streams the following week with lots of special guests who are going to help us raise money for able gamers. So join us in June for E3 and Play for All on GameSpot.com, YouTube.com/GameSpot, Twitch.tv/GameSpot, and as a part of the E3's official broadcast. See you then.
Welcome back to E3 Live from Los Angeles. And team, we are just moments away from Verizon's presentation. Obviously, you know, with a mobile carrier, you think about mobile games.
Sure.
And, you know, how have you seen the mobile game scene change? Because I'm a big mobile gamer, and it has evolved exponentially over the last few years.
Oh my gosh, dude. No, you want to say the last few years, I'd go even further than that. You know, Damon and I have been very clear that we're old. And so at IGN in like 2008, I remember Levi Buchanan walking around and be like, no, you guys don't understand. Like, mobile games are about to be massive. They're about to take over. It's so big in Japan right now. It's going to be that way here. And you jump to it now, and it is that, like, as somebody who never played mobile games, I have Apple Arcade. Right, I have the backbone controller to throw onto my phone, whether it is for a mobile game, whether it is to go play something through remote play. You're seeing games I'm already excited for, stuff like Cozy Grove, go from a mobile platform to PlayStation.
Yes,
and it's that idea of like you start playing it on a console, you're like, this is a great game. Chicory right now. You start playing it on a console, and you're like, this is great. And then it's like, oh wait, I could have been playing this on my phone a long time ago.
I know. It's incredible how much mobile gaming has evolved. Mobile networks are so important as well, folks, and the wait is over. So let's go ahead and kick things over to our friends at Verizon.
Hello everyone, I'm Diego Scotti, CMO of Verizon, and it's great to be here. This is my first E3, so you might be wondering why am I here and why Verizon is here at the industry's biggest gaming conference. Well, let me tell you, this past year changed everything, including the world of gaming. The pandemic sparked a massive growth for the industry. New players came in droves, and for many, gaming took on new meaning. It was a source of comfort, a creative outlet, and a means of connection. In fact, we estimate that 5 out of 6 people in the US have played a video game at some point in the past 6 months. That is amazing. And this growth has propelled the gaming industry towards massive new creative opportunities and cutting-edge ideas. Gamers know better than anyone that cutting-edge ideas demand new technologies that can keep up. And that's where Verizon comes in. Because here's the thing. In our increasingly fast-paced, interconnected world, we need technology that can transform every aspect of gaming. Technology that is not limited to a single console or platform. What we need It's a network, and that network is Verizon 5G Ultra Wideband. That is why we're here today, to tell you about Verizon 5G Ultra Wideband's high speed, low latency, massive capacity, and the power of mobile edge compute, or MEC, and how Verizon is powering a gaming revolution. We're going to talk about 3 gaming communities that will benefit the most. The first community is the developers who create the games. We'll see how developers can make the most graphic-rich multiplayer games ever created. And immersive gaming formats like virtual reality can come to life in whole new ways. The second community is the sports teams who play them. We will look at how players can download games in seconds, and data-intensive multiplayer games typically reserved for consoles can now be played on mobile. And third is the community of fans who engage with them. Fans can stream games on the go with no additional downloads or consoles needed. So in all these 3 areas, Verizon 5G Ultra Wideband is the innovation that makes other innovations possible. Let's take a look. Wow, the 5G gaming revolution is on. 5G Ultra Wideband and mobile edge compute are literally game changers for this industry. And to prove it, we'll hear from friends I'm proud to have here with us today. Dignitas, EA, Team Liquid, and Riot Games. It's an amazing group. All the games, all the programs, the hardware being announced here at E3, all of them require a powerful network. And Verizon 5G will take all of them to the next level. We're talking about capabilities that include speeds that can reach up to 4 gigabits per second, latency measured in milliseconds, the potential to support more connected devices than ever before, and smaller handsets with extended battery life. It's simply incredible. I'm so excited. To bring this to life, let's see how 5G will change everything. So amazing. I really loved that video. So now let's talk about the people who are using this technology to create the games, the developers, and how this new technology will change the way they create and publish games. So to do this, I want to introduce Nikki Palmer, Verizon's Chief Product and Development Officer. Take it away, Nikki.
Thank you so much, Diego. To get an even better understanding of how Verizon 5G is making permanent transformations within gaming, I want to tell you about something called Mobile Edge Compute, or MEC. It's a technology that's having a huge impact on those game developers that Diego mentioned. MEC involves putting compute power that would have otherwise been in the cloud or on the device itself into the edge of the network, where those capabilities are most needed for low latency performance. In 2020, Verizon became the first company in the world to launch MEC. We did that with Amazon Web Services Wavelength. So far, we've deployed MEC in this fashion with AWS in 10 major metropolitan areas across the United States. We've also announced a private MEC solution teaming with Microsoft Azure. In addition, we announced 5G and MEC co-innovation collaborations with IBM, Cisco, SAP, and Deloitte. So in short, Verizon is where the tech superstars go when they want MEC done right. So, what does all this mean for developers? A lot, as it turns out. For starters, with MEC and 5G ultra-wideband, processing can happen closer to the user, reducing the time required to upload or download a massive file or crunch a huge database. So, say goodbye to the days of high-def games bogging down the network. Not only that, truly immersive gaming in formats like virtual reality can be enabled, and that reduces the lag and the jitter in the experience that may have prevented the adoption of VR in the first place. This technology also provides a platform for hardware developers that can change the size and weight of a headset, untethering gamers from the clunky hardware of the past and unlocking the huge gaming potential of virtual reality. With augmented reality games also on the rise, there are even more implications for game developers, especially the ones who are so creative that the current platforms can't keep up. Until now. The platforms are here. Thanks to 5G ultra-wideband, even the most visually complex cloud-based games can come through beautifully on any user device, just as their creators intended. Developers can now focus on making the best games. They can rewrite the rules for creating eye-popping, graphics-rich multiplayer action without worrying about hardware or network limitations. So, now that we've lifted the creative limitations for developers, I want to shift gears to talk about the second community being impacted by the power of 5G, and that's esports teams. Esports has been one of the fastest growing entertainment categories in the world. With access to Verizon 5G ultra-wideband and mobile edge compute, new games can be played with higher fidelity and lower latency, creating new opportunities for esports leagues, especially mobile esports. Our 5G labs have been the perfect place for esports innovation. These 5G and MEC-enabled environments are cutting-edge incubators for forward-thinking companies that are ready to build and scale the future of gaming. In early 2020,